I have been with the bank for 24 years. I've been in the north. I came from down south. I did my economic development degree from Quesnel all the way up to Prince Rupert. I do the training for my positions from Quesnel to Prince Rupert. I know the area very well. I just recently moved to Quesnel a couple months ago. I lived in Houston, serviced Burns Lake, Smithers, Hazelton, worked a lot in Terrace, Rupert. Now I've been fortunate enough to Quesnel, as well as Prince George. I actually did a bunch of commercial training here as well. So prior to that, I was an entrepreneur. I had a very successful business, worked with my family, started having my own family, decided to change careers, as well as I knew the trials that everybody's going through, and that's what made me decide to go into small business, is what I'm doing today. Absolutely love it. So now, key. I'm going to see if I can get this. I'm going to talk about financing solutions for your business. And like I said, there's a lot of slides here. I'm going to go through a little bit quicker than I did in my last session. I'm going to send it to you. Please ask questions today, and please ask questions via email or give me a call. I'm going to give you all that information. So this is what we're going to cover, your business plan. You heard Lisa talk about it. Business plan is key and very, very important. Keeping the cash flow, financing growth the right way. You'll hear the term CFBFL. It's Canada Small Business Financing Program. This is really, really key for startups, for businesses, less down, 10%. I'll go into a little bit on that. Loan applications, leveraging electronic capabilities, and protecting your business. All these are key. So, your business plan. It is the roadmap to your success. So who here has a business plan? Congratulations, that's awesome. That's key. Who here revisits their business plan? So that's less than half. Okay, that's awesome as well. Your business plan puts you in control, and it really does. It identifies risks, identifies key players, outlines your long-term objectivities, highlights your strengths and weaknesses. Your business plan is you. We don't ask you to do a business plan for us. We want that business plan. We need that business plan. We ask you to do that business plan for you. I'll give you an example. I had a client come in, and she wanted to do some financing, and so I asked her, do you have a business plan? Nope. So she promised that she was going to go home. We went over a lot of different things. She promised she'd go home and she'd do her business plan up. She did. She did her projections, which is in her business plan. She set it up. She phoned me about a week and a half later and thanked me because she's not going to open that business. She realized that business wasn't feasible, wasn't going to make her the capital that she was expecting to make. It was going to cost her a ton of money to get into. Thank goodness she didn't open it. The business plan is for you. It truly is. It should include business description and industry analysis. There is a lot of information on the net. When you bring that business plan into me, I do industry searches. I'm probably doing more searches than you guys are. So when we look at that, we go through it pretty heavy. Identify a team in charge of growth. Or identification of team in charge of growth. So that's you and your team and how you're going to get there. Marketing plan, operational plan, projected cash flow, and assessment of key risks. So projected cash flow is huge. I was asked in the other session, what happens if you're in an industry that there isn't a ton of information out there, if it's new? Lisa's was new. Put that in your business plan. This is my idea and this is why. This is new, this is why. This is, you can be that specific. It doesn't have to be this formal, wonderful plan, but it's got to be based on you. So you know what? This is my idea, this is why, and this is why I think it's going to grow. This is my resume, this is my background, and then projections. Keep your projections conservative, because be happy at the end when they come out better. Don't overstate your projections. If you overstate them, then you could most likely end up in failure. And we want you to succeed just as much as you want to succeed. And assessment of key risks, that's huge. What are the risks? Are you going to open a restaurant? Is there 15 restaurants in the area? Really, are you going to get the clientele? You're going to open a wellness clinic. People don't believe in that in the area. How are you going to get them to believe in that? It depends on you. Your professional profile to evaluate your ability to be successful in your endeavor. Your projected viability, including projections. Your final strength to judge your ability to meet your obligations. So this comes into your lending. Are you going to need lending for it? I'm going to give you a good reason why you're going to, but a little bit later, but are you going to need it? Go on the calculators online. I am going to send you guys calculators, cash flow tools, so it's going to be easy online through your email. Put in that loan payment that you think you're going to need and put it in your projections. Your investment in the business. So what are you coming in? We're partnering with you. So what are you bringing into it? I get a lot of people that come into my office and they want 100% financing and they're not willing to put anything up. That tells us you don't believe in yourself. Nobody's going to do 100%. You got to have something in it. And it might just be your abilities, and we're going to try something else. Cash fuels growth. Need for cash flow grows the business. That's huge. I am going to, because we are running out of time, I am going to really flip through these real quick. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Need may exceed revenue in the early stages of growth period. Think through cash flow strategies, put solutions in place before the need arises. So that's where your business plan is going to be in. Is there a weakness? Put a plan in place that you're going to offset it in your business. Understand your sales cycle. Managing your expenses, collecting from customers on time, that's huge. Maximize supplier credit, that's the next huge, and keep inventory reasonable. You want to collect. Don't be that nice guy. That nice guy finishes last. Doesn't mean you be mean, but you want to collect that receivable in a timely fashion because that's cash flow. And what you're doing is cash flowing their company. So you need to make sure that your company's cash flowed. Maximize supplier credit. It's nothing to go 30 or 60 days to pay your supplier. But make sure you keep your inventory levels reasonable. You don't want old inventory sitting there because that costs you money. And funding for a bank, we don't fund old inventory. We don't fund receivables over 60 days, and we don't fund payables over 90 days. There's got to be extenuating circumstances why we would do that. Determining whether you have enough money to manage your business means creating a variety of realistic cash flow projections, taking on as many factors into account as possible. I'm going to send you the cash flow tool, so you'll see that. Big thing, get a handle on your cash. If you don't have cash, you can't pay your employees, you can't pay your bills. Can't grow. Comes to us, it can be at a problematic time, and then it's hard for us to help. Leveraging technology. This is going to help keep your cash flow. I'm going to get through this because I'm going to go back to the debt part. Your goal to accurately forecast cash flow, online banking is huge. Payments, transfers, convenience of tracking. You want to have online. You want to have online availability to yourself, which is mean like Moneris, because that's cash in hand that day, next day. That's people pay you quicker. You want to be able to watch. I dealt with a situation just before I got here. We had, this is where protecting yourself near the end of this, but I'm going to bring it up now. We had a client come in and wasn't paying attention to their business and had a business runner, we call them, come in, and they brought in their deposits. They fictitiously made out deposit slips saying that they put $1,000 in at a time when actually they're only putting in $600. This has been going on for a long time. Now it's up to the hundreds of thousands, and it was just discovered. The person didn't pay attention to their business. That's going to down your business in a heartbeat. Sometimes it makes sense to borrow. So what the meaning of this is, there's long-term and short-term borrowings. I have a client, and I'm going to give examples as opposed to the terms on here. I have a client that refused to borrow, paid cash for their building, and they thought they were doing very, very well. Over $100,000 paid cash, took it out of their cash flow. I had him in once a week because he didn't have enough cash flow to pay his employees. He didn't have enough cash flow to buy his inventory. He didn't have enough cash flow to do any of that stuff. It took me 2 years, and I got him to finally finance his building. Had he not done that, he probably would have been out of business probably within that next year. He now owns 4 buildings. He employs, I think, over 50 people. He's over my desk now. He's in commercial. He still follows me. I've had him for 10 years now, and he will be, boy, we should have brought him in. He would be a key speaker on debt is to your benefit. Too much debt is not to your benefit, though. It's got to be within the lifetime of the asset. So when you're going to borrow, you got to borrow to the lifetime of that asset. Short-term financing. Don't use a line of credit to buy a vehicle. That is your cash flow. That's your accounts receivable, your accounts payable, your inventory. That will get you every time. Don't ever do that. You want a term loan. You want that to pay out because you can have them with no penalties. You can have them at decent interest rates. And you still have your cash to pay your company, pay all your expenses. A way to offset fees, because everything costs money, and even banking. Costs a bank money, so it's going to cost you money. Bank accounts, my biggest complaint, my fees in my bank account. Get a business visa. Use that business visa for everything you do. Gain the points from that business visa. Even if you have to pay that thing off 3 times a month, use it 100 times. There's not 100 transaction in your bank account. It's for free for your visa. You don't pay for that transaction. You pay a yearly fee for your points, but the points that you get to get it offset that yearly fee. And you've got 3 hits to your bank account other than your payroll. $6 a month. So it's a pretty cheap way of doing it. You're gaining points. I've got big contractors that use those points to pay employees RSP dollars, take them on vacations. Then you become the hero, right? And you help them. We like to put your personal and business together because we call it a multi-product rebate. We can actually limit fees. The more you have, the more limits you get. So I'll give you an example with the business visa. If you've got a personal Avion visa and you got points rolling into it, and you want a business Avion visa, and you want points rolling into that, you can actually have them rolling together. Because your business has the write-offs and your personal does not, now your $120 fee under your personal translates, and it's on your business. Your personal goes down to $50 to have that card. So we limit it on the personal side. We put the fee on the business side. But we don't hit you twice. We just pay Visa for what it costs to have the card. And then you get 15,000 points to sign up. So there's free short travel somewhere if you use the points for travel.
And then does that tie into your personal?
Yep, it absolutely does. And you're going to get an RSP. Small businesses always lack pensions. You're going to get the Visa. You're going to get the free bank account, personally. If you have quite a bit of money in your business account, you can actually have a free business account. 50,000, but you got to keep it in there. 75,000. What you got to do is look at the offset of what that fee is going to cost you to what you're going to make investing-wise. And we actually will do the scenario for you, and we'll say, you know what, pay the $6 in the bank account because you're going to make $200 a month in your investment. Investments aren't very good. You know what? Keep the money in your bank account because you're not going to make the interest, but you're sure not going to pay the fees. So it just depends your business and where they are. So the bank is becoming a little bit better with putting together business accounts, personal accounts, and trying to limit that irritant of the fees. Same as business loans under small business. So I love small business and left commercial is way cheaper. Way cheaper to run.
We have to wrap up in
Yeah.
the next minute or two.
Okay, I'm going to just shoot. There's really one thing I want to go into really heavily, and that's what I talked about is protecting yourself. And it just rings so true because I just had to deal with it. Get insurance. Keep track of your company. You are your company. If you got a bookkeeper, that's great. Get your bookkeeper to do it. But watch that online banking every day. Know your numbers. When you come to me and I ask what your revenues are, know what that is. Please, please don't tell me, I got to go talk to my accountant, because that tells me you don't have a handle on your company. So when you come in, you're selling yourself to me, and I'm selling you to my credit department. So that confidence level, I want to see that you know what you're doing. This is what you want. You're going to work your butt off to get it. You know what? I'm going to do the same thing for you.